Today it's Rolex watches. So basically, to get started this video, we're going to talk about why Rolex is a smart company to buy if you're looking for a high-end horological piece. Also, I'm going to do a little comparison to my Hamilton watch, which I did a video on about 6 months ago. Basically talk about the differences of why Rolex costs so much, what you're getting, is it a smart buy, can you get your money back out of the watch, that sort of stuff. So I recently acquired a Rolex Oyster Perpetual 39. This is the blue dial. And I'll go into where to pick one of these up and why you should buy from dealers and all that sort of stuff. So let's get started. This is the Hamilton day date. I have a video online. Basically, this is an excellent watch for the price point. This one runs about anywhere from $500 to $800 depending on where you get it. You can see the Swiss ETA movement on the back there. Good price point watch. I've been real happy with this watch actually. But if you didn't know anything about the materials and the differences between these two watches, just looking at fit and finish, for example, like look where my thumbnail is here. You can see the gaps in this bezel, the movement, the quality of the sapphire, the quality of the dial. These are basically probably printed on, and then these facets are probably stamped or glued. And when you look at a watch like a Rolex, you can see the tolerances on all the gaps are much better. Everything on the inside on the facets, those are all 18 karat white gold. The luminescence is a lot stronger. This watch is waterproof to 330 feet. Everything's brushed because this basically is an entry-level Rolex. So you have the polished bezel, the polished sides, but everything on the band is going to be brushed. This is a certified watch. And I got all the warranty cards, manuals, and all that sort of stuff. So why did I go with Rolex? Well, Rolex is one of, if you want to go high-end as far as watches, I think they're probably the best brand that retains its value. Especially if you go with something like an Oyster Perpetual in the 39 range. This is a 40 mil Hamilton. That's basically the size where watches are at these days. So I think if you stick with an Oyster or something as an entry level, you're going to be able to get pretty much a good portion of your money back later. The thing that drew me to this watch was the dial. This looks like, to me anyways, you can use it as a dress watch. It can be a casual watch. It's an unpretentious piece. It's not, gaudy. I'm not even sure if people are going to really notice this watch that much. It's hard to say. I just picked it up yesterday. And some interesting things on the Oyster Perpetual. In 1926, Rolex invented the first waterproof watch that was the Oyster. And then in 1931, they designed and patented the perpetual movement. So this is basically an automatic watch. It has a weight that swings around, similar to the Hamilton here. See the weight moving in there? Here we go. And this is a Swiss-made movement. It's an ETA movement, which basically means it's mass-produced. Pretty much base model Swiss ETA movement. This Oyster Perpetual has the Rolex in-house 3132 movement, much smoother, supposedly much more accurate. It goes through rigorous testing from Rolex before it leaves the factory, and then 15 days and nights of testing through their outside testing. I forget the name of the company right offhand, but this is 904L stainless steel. It's supposedly a super alloy, so scratch resistance, corrosion resistance, all that sort of stuff is going to be much better in a Rolex versus like a base model. This is probably a 316 stainless or something along those lines. You can see like the tolerances in the band. If you wiggle this band, it has an awful lot of movement. The Rolex, the tolerances and stuff are going to be much tighter. If you go on their website too, the Rolex website, obviously, you can get a lot of this information that I'm covering in this video. And they have this, which is nice for all their watches. If you want to read about them, they actually give you retail price points, which is a very nice feature. That way you can kind of find a watch that you think you're interested in, you know, price point wise, and then start looking at them in the boutiques. So let me get this out so we can look at it a little bit. I'll show you the band and that sort of thing. So while I'm getting this off, there's a couple ways to buy watches. There's white market, or retail. Then there's gray market, and then there's black market. So basically, white market is you get what you pay for. You pay retail. You go into the jewelry store, the certified authentic Rolex dealer. Gray market's probably, there's a couple stores online that'll sell them to you for 15% off, something along that range. And then I never recommend going with the stolen or fake market. This is not worth it. So I wouldn't buy a watch like this gray market either, because if you buy from a Rolex certified dealer, you get the 5-year international warranty. There's no question if you're buying an authentic watch, because I believe Rolex certified dealers and repair facilities are the only ones that can get the back off this thing. So you wouldn't want to spend $5,000 on a gray market watch and then be wondering if it was actually real or fake. Just pay a little extra money. Get one from a certified dealer. You get all the warranty registration cards. You don't have to worry about if you got ripped off, any of that sort of stuff. So let's look at this Oyster bracelet a little bit. Like I said, this is an entry-level Rolex, so everything's brushed. The details of this watch is what you're going to notice is the main difference between this and a more of a price point watch, or in the $1,000 range. Just the way you can see the way it's all cut from one piece of the bracelet, the dial, the case. Everything's going to be the absolute best it can be as far as Rolex is concerned. I don't believe anything's really, I think the dial isn't painted. I think it's actually cut from a, if I can get it to focus, it's actually cut from a solid piece of material. And if you look at the lettering and the way the attention to detail, most of these dials are handmade because they're looking for the absolute best precision. And these hour markers, you can see how they appear black sometimes. According to the internet, everything in there is 18 karat gold, so they're just polished so high that they reflect everything. So if light's not hitting them directly, you can see how they kind of turn black. And then once they start reflecting the light, they turn that nice white color. So it's a really interesting watch. It's my first Rolex, so it probably won't be my last. I've really enjoyed having it so far, and we'll see how it holds up. I'm expecting it to be great. If you look at the scratches, you can see the brushed links on this watch. The scratches are harder to pick up, but on the polished sides, and the lighting is not the best in here, I'm sorry about that, but you can see here, You can see a lot of the scratches showing up on the polished. So I kind of enjoy the Rolexes with the polished center links and the brushed outside, but the brushed links, fully brushed, does hide scratches better. So this probably is going to be a very good everyday wear watch, to where I don't have to worry about getting it too beat up. You can also see the bracelet's kind of tapered there. It starts thicker links at the top here, and then as you get lower, they do taper in a little bit. It's a nice touch. These links are all solid. The pins are solid, so that there's no cutting corners with Rolex. And setting the date, function, and winding's easy. This unscrews. You need to keep that screwed in for waterproofness, but if you unscrew it here, the first notch is going to be your manual wind function, and then the second notch actually stops the entire movement, so you can get it to the second perfect. And nice thing about Rolex is, some of these kind of watches, you got to be careful. You only want to change the time and dates when it's like 6 o'clock in the evening, because the gears are real close and you can actually damage them, and you want to make sure you turn in the proper direction. With Rolex, I was reading the book, and that's a Rolex, for crying out loud. They don't care what direction you turn it, it's good to go. So you don't have to worry about gears being close or damaging anything, which is a nice touch for somebody that doesn't own a whole lot of mechanical watches. It makes it easy for details that you don't have to be aware of and pay attention to, where you can damage the watch. Servicing this, the dealer I bought it from said about every 10 years. You can send them to Rolex certified dealers. The price is about $700 right now, and they completely disassemble the watch. They refurbish everything. They put it back together. They test it. You get a 2-year warranty when it comes back, and basically, from what I've read online, the watch will come back and it will look brand new. So I think that's pretty nice too. So the main difference between these two watches is one of these is going to last you a lifetime, the other is not. If I was to get this watch serviced, if it's anywhere close to like a Rolex servicing, I don't even know if anybody would do it, honestly. But that would be about the price of the watch. So yeah, obviously, if you had a Hamilton and it was that important to you to have this watch for the rest of your life, obviously you can do it, but it's not really cost effective, given the price you paid for the watch. It's almost like a consumable item. You just throw it out and go buy another one. Some nice details on the Rolex. You can see the Rolex around the inside of the bezel there engraved. Just the more you look at this watch, the more I'm impressed by the quality of the materials and the way it feels, the heft. It's really is a nice watch. I can see why Rolex is easily at the top of the game. You can notice too with the ETA movement, which is a Swiss movement, you can see the second hand. You can see the pronounced ticking there. The Rolex is definitely a little smoother with that in-house control of quality movement. See the second hand going around there. And then there's the Rolex again, nice and smooth. So yeah, the nice thing about Rolex is you can buy one, wear it every day, enjoy it with the steel and the materials they use. It's going to hold up really well. And if you decide to change your mind one day, the resale for these watches is extremely good. So you're not going to lose your rear end. Now if you buy this watch here and you don't like it or change your mind, you're pretty much going to eat the cost on that one. Still a great watch though. Like I said, if you don't want to spend $5,000-$6,000 on an entry-level high-end luxury watch, Hamilton, to me anyway, has been a really nice watch. One thing I forgot to point out was the thickness of these two watches. I really like the thinner watches. I mean, that's nice. You can wear that dress. It's not going to get snagged on things. You can see how they did such a good job on the sapphire crystal there. Nice smooth edges. And then the Hamilton's actually a little thicker. Not a whole lot, but it is noticeable on your wrist. A few other details. See these screws on the band. Then here's the screws on the Rolex band. And they're so flush the phone's not really going to focus here. But there's the outside of the link, and then these ones that usually put the screws in from the other side, on the other side of the band. So that's really what you're paying for: the quality of materials, the tolerances, the fit and finish. Like I pointed out earlier, these links. I mean, that bezel is flat all the way around. Everything's handmade, set on the dial. It's 18 karat white gold. The luminescence lasts a really long time. The sapphire crystal is probably almost scratch proof. And you know, timekeeping ability. The history behind this watch, it's also, you know, a piece of art, and it's a piece of history too, given the patents and how this watch right here changed the industry with the waterproofness, the perpetual movement. So it's really just a nice piece of history to own, and my fingerprints all over it there. But yeah, so if you guys are looking for a high-end watch brand, I definitely think Rolex is a very smart choice, smart money company to go with, and like I said, if you change your mind later, you get your money back out of them. Yeah, a lot of people collect these and enjoy owning them. Rolex is at the top for a reason. But in this Oyster Perpetual 39, I don't think you can go wrong. They make a grape, a dark gray, and this is the blue dial. And it'll be an interesting journey with this watch, but I think it's a great looking watch. I'll get you the model number on this one. This is the 114-300. So if you're interested in this watch that I've actually bought, then here's some better pictures of it with the movement on the Rolex website. So if you guys are looking for a nice high-end piece, I think Rolex is a nice safe bet. And if you get one, let me know what you guys think about them in the comments. But so far, owning this thing for about a day now, I've been extremely impressed with it. And the more I look and do research, I've really enjoyed the fact that I was able to buy one of these. And I'm definitely thinking I'm going to be hanging on to this one for a while. And it's probably not going to be my last Rolex either. So hope this helps if you're thinking about this company or a high-end watch. And please let me know if you guys want to see anything else in the comments. I appreciate it. Thanks.